Welcome to the Fans Ed Sports Show. But thank God I'm not a Florida fan. Just out here looking trash.
People call me crazy for saying they had 6 losable games on their schedule.
That's where I picked y'all preseason.
I don't know how, but somehow they got some excitement around their program right now.
Welcome to the Fans Ed Sports Show, hosted by your boys, Cleveland Mike and Terry from College Football Stop, man. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like button. If you are not subscribed to Best Damn Media, make sure you go ahead, get subscribed, and also check out the Discord and the link, because Terry, I think we're watching film tonight, man. I think it feels like a film type of night in the Discord, man. So, I believe we got a special guest for you all as well from Best Damn Media. So make sure y'all stay tuned to that. All right, man. Terry, we got a jam-packed show, man. But we got to go ahead and get to what's going on the Fans Edge boards, man. It's a lot of things going on in the sports world. And we've been ragging on Fox and the issues that Fox have in Big Noon. But Fox seem to have bigger issues than that, man. They got a whole scandal going out. People probably getting sued. My guy Marcus Wiley, he might be putting out a lawsuit as well, man. What do you think about what's going on at Freaky Fox?
Dude, we're gonna lead off with this, man.
Yeah, we got to, Mike,
man. Let me, bro. How you doing, bro? How's your week been?
Let me
ask you that first, bro. You can't. I can't start the show off right away. Talk about that crazy stuff, man.
We got to.
Everything been good with you, bro?
Everything good. What about you and the fam?
Hey, everything's good over here, man. Everything's good. All right. I mean, listen. If you want to, we'll get into it, bro. So let's do it. It's just crazy, bro. Like, what stuff like this, like, it happens, right? Everybody knows it happens. Everybody knows that people at these big companies, they're all sleeping around with each other, all this stuff, but it don't never come out like this. And the fact that it's coming out, I think a lot of people are about to be getting fired. A lot of people, dude. It's going to be quick too. Like within the next couple weeks, you're going to see a lot of people getting up out of there for this situation. And I don't know if they're going to end up like being like, if there's gonna be like is this a lawsuit? It was actually filed. It's like it's going to court.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so.
See, I didn't even know that. And I don't even follow it that much, but
I don't think that the Marcus Wiley one has been filed yet. But it's definitely picking up some steam, man. But I felt like I've already talked to you today. That's why I was like, I've already said hey and everything. That's why my bad.
You're right.
But we got some big things going on, man. The transfer portal is happening as we speak. And you got, I say, the biggest news of who went ahead and committed right away is the Branch brothers going to UGA. We have talked about them all season and their lack of skill, but still being dominant with their defense and their defense bailing them out in games. But they go ahead, they get a playmaker in Damon Wilson. I mean, not Damon Wilson, but in what's his name? Zachariah Branch.
Mm-hmm.
They go ahead and get a playmaker in him. Now, I felt like he had a little bit of issues when he got to the Big Ten. He was doing really well going up against in the Pac-12, but I felt like he was having a little bit of issues when he got up to the Big Ten level, playing better defenses. Do you see that continuing in the SEC, or will this be a guy that they'll just be able to use a little bit better than what USC did, which will be kind of surprising to say when you have talking about Lincoln Riley, right?
I mean, USC was kind of a mess this year, bro. Like, you think of Lincoln Riley, you think of a great offense, but like Miller Moss was their quarterback. That was not a great offense this year. The thing with him, bro, he's just a dynamic guy, right? So if Georgia can find ways to get him the ball and get him in space, then I do think that he'll make it a big impact for them. I think getting his brother, it's Zachariah Branch and Zion Branch. Yeah, getting his brother is a huge pickup for Georgia too, because they're going to be losing Malachi Starks after this year. So adding that, kind of big time player into their safety room is going to be good. So that's just a good pickup for them, bro. Like, I mean, I wouldn't have been mad if Ohio State went out and got a team, a couple brothers that are just elite like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But here's my thing. I know I see some people on the timeline was saying that the other brother plays safety. He might just be a death piece. Are they I think they might be losing one safety, but I'm not sure. We'll have to
They're
see
losing
about that.
Malachi Starks for sure.
Okay.
He
All
was
right.
going to the NFL, so.
But we'll see, because normally Georgia has those top elite guys. So we'll see if his brother ends up getting a chance to actually be a presence on the field. But as they say, once you get something, something gets taken away. And Damon Wilson, he enters the portal, and I would say that this guy, this is the big one. This is the guy who's the most sought after, and there's already been a prediction to Ohio State, but I'll say pump the brakes on that, because we don't know. You got the playoffs right now, so Ohio State can't recruit this guy like they want to right now. But Ohio State was his second school. I just felt like at that time, Ohio State was broke with NIL. Like, now you see Georgia fans on the TL talking about, oh my God, Ohio State got limitless money. I remember when we was broke.
It wasn't even that long ago we was broke, Mike. We came up fast, man. We was broke, and then all of a sudden we got people calling out our amount for our roster for an entire year. Like, man, we was just broke. You was just talking shit that we ain't had no money.
Fact. So do you think that Ohio State will be able to land Damon Wilson? Or, I think that they are in good position. I think it would be a great pickup for him.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other schools, there's other money that's going to be involved. And what I'm hearing is Ohio State won't be the largest NIL thing. And I just feel like, hey, man, you went the NIL route the last time, you know what I'm saying? And, why not go with the development route this time?
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, bro, Ohio State, unless somebody offers them something crazy that like is just out of our range, then we're gonna offer, we're gonna be competitive in the NIL offer with this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I know he's already got like crystal balls to Ohio State and stuff, which I kind of hate, because it seems like now those things are just clickbait. It's just to get clicks on any big player, and then they link them to a big school just so that everybody clicks on that article and whatnot. And then they end up going somewhere else. So I don't know. I think he'll end up being a Buckeye, just because I think Ohio State just has a lot of momentum right now. That's why I think everything, the way that they're looking going into the playoffs, the guys that they already have brought in through the transfer portal, and it's just looking good, bro. And the recruiting class we just brought in, all that. It's just like momentum is a big thing in recruiting, and it's kind of the same thing with the portal, man. A guy's looking to go to a team that's got all the momentum. So
yeah, and there's a rumor going around that Day might be setting himself up, win a natty and end up leaving. But the way this roster is setting up for next year, why leave?
Yeah, I listen. I'm the one that's been saying that. I don't know if that's like a real rumor that anybody has came out with, because really I was just saying it, just talking shit. But like, I do think that it's a possibility, though. I mean, like I've continued to make the joke that Ryan Day is coaching like he knows he don't ever have to see Michigan again. And that is kind of, I mean, the team looks different, bro. I haven't seen Ohio State look like this in a while, especially on both sides of the ball, because you can think back to like the CJ Stroud time with Ryan Day, and the team was cooking even like against Georgia, but the defense was not good. So now we have both of those, and I don't know, man. I hope Ryan Day stays. I really do. I hope he stays, just because I don't want to lose a lot of the key pieces that we have on the Ohio State team right now. Just because I think with guys like Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, you have the best player on offense and defense. You can probably win any game, and if you can win any game, you can win the national championship. So,
right.
But
I don't think that Ryan Day goes anywhere, and the reason being is man, if you go ahead win a national championship, that feeling that you have. Also, I think that there was a learning point with that team meeting that they had with him. I think there was a learning point there, and also a learning point with Jim Knowles during the season after the Oregon loss. And as you can see, he hasn't had to worry about the defense ever since that game. And I feel like it's just allowing Jim Knowles to be Jim Knowles, that head coach of the defense that you want him to be. And now you don't have him handcuffed with one arm behind his back now. So, learning from that. Also, you just learn from your team on the offensive side of the ball. And I think that if he could just, take that and build that momentum in the next season, why not stop? Like, why stop that? Why stop that momentum, man?
Yeah, but again, you have to admit, Mike, that it's possible, right? Like Ryan Day has always been an NFL guy, and then on top of that, the scrutiny that he's been under because of losing to Michigan, like even if everything's changed now, like for us as fans, right? Everything's changed. We're happy. We're good. We want to keep winning. We need to win the Natty, all that good stuff, right? But we didn't go through the shit that Ryan Day went through, bro. We didn't go through the I don't know. Like I'm not trying to be sympathetic about it, because at the same time, it's like, look, just don't lose to Michigan 4 times in a row. Don't lose to the worst Michigan team ever, or not worst Michigan team ever, but like a terrible Michigan team when you have this great team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so in no way, I'm not trying to say that, but I'm saying Ryan Day definitely could be wanting to get up out of here, because, like I said, we didn't go through the stuff that he went through, bro.
But here's my thing. Everyone has talked about Ryan Day, the competitor. I don't think that you leave not beating that team, because then as a competitor,
he beat him once.
You beat him once, but you left on the sour note. Like, the only reason that you would be saying that you're leaving is because of that team up north, and that doesn't seem like the elite competitors to me.
I mean, I agree with that, but again, I think Ryan Day's a family man, bro. And you know what I mean? Everybody be talking about his family getting threats and stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, bro. Like, it's funny, but like, if my family got a threat, I would feel crazy. You know what I mean? I'd be like, wait, what? Like, what? I don't know.
Bro, the fan base is crazy, man. The fan base is crazy. The threats and stuff, I just feel like it's wild, bro. It's definitely wild. But Terry, man, we haven't had a show since this weekend, and there were some great quarterfinal games that happened, man, that we got to talk about. And the first one that I want to get into is Texas versus Arizona State, man. And it looked like Texas was going to go ahead, demolish Arizona State, make them look like they didn't belong. But then, hold up. Arizona State comes rallying back, and Texas has to win in overtime.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, that game was crazy. The fact that it went to overtime, you have to take that, like, you have to look at that as a negative for Texas. Like, don't get me wrong, bro. Every good team has went up on a team and let them come back a little bit, because you feel like you're up, you start getting comfortable. Like, that happens, but you got to be able to turn it on and put that team away. I know this is a playoff game, but like, come on, bro. Like, Texas should be better than Arizona State. Like, Arizona State was not, they're not on the upper echelon. Like, they didn't have a chance to win the national championship. They were never going to. So it is, like I said, it is. It's an indicator of where their program is at, that they had to go to overtime to win that game, but also they won it, bro, and they move on. You know what I mean? Like, do I think that Texas is the Texas that we're going to see? Probably not. Probably not. They'll probably come out a lot more fired up and, not making so many mistakes like that. So what do you think about that game?
Yeah, I mean, it was very disappointing to see, but, because honestly, I thought that they were going to, like I said, the whole thing was show who belonged there, right? And did I feel like Arizona was one of those teams that deserved a first round bye? No. And I felt like Texas was going to go out there and show them that. And there's been times during the season where I'm like, okay, Texas is going to go out there, do this. And then it just does not happen the way that I might have thought that it would, right? So, I mean, that's just my biggest thing. And then also what's alarming, right? I know that they're 1 year removed from the Big 12, but I've seen them start talking about the SEC and the SEC grind and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
and to be an SEC team or what the SEC people have, made themselves out to be. It just, I felt like you should have dominated them more physically, and then also not being able to get the running game off like you should have. It was a bit concerning, seeing the Arizona State being able to do that. Maybe, did they get complacent? Possibly. But that's also like a culture thing. Like, I think that you need to be firing on all cylinders and making sure that you're putting teams out the way, especially in the third quarter. But I believe that this is beginning to be a pattern with them.
They say Texas is like one of the worst third quarter teams in the country, which that doesn't even make any sense at all. How you come out and just be bad in the third quarter when like you should be able to make adjustments, and you have Sark, who's supposed to be like this great offensive mind. But I hope they come out slow in the third quarter. You know what I mean? I mean, that would be sweet. Like I'm cool with it, Mike. I think I'm not trying to spin it back to Ohio State, but just looking back at like the way Texas played against Arizona State, and it was just like I said, you got to give them credit for winning the game, but also at the same time, they let Arizona State come back into the game, and they were not able to just turn it back on and take the game over at any point. Like,
all right. Well, you got the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, man. Ohio State rematch against Oregon. Ohio State wins in blowout fashion, 41-21. Just my quick thoughts. I mean, we've kind of talked in spaces about this game, man, but Ohio State came out dominating, looked just like how they did in the Tennessee game on offense. And that was my thing. Like, I know the defense is going to show up. Is the offense going to show up? And to be honest, man, I just feel like they're catching a different rhythm. And who's going to stop JJ? It's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think the one of the big things is just, I feel like it's been talked about a lot, but not even enough, bro, is this whole player meeting thing that happened after the Michigan game. Because I really feel like the big time players on this team, the ones that I would call undeniable, that's what I would call them. Jeremiah Smith is an undeniable talent. Caleb Downs is an undeniable talent. I feel like those guys went to Ryan Day and basically was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are we not being stars, and like, why are you putting us in positions to lose? It makes no sense. I feel like that really happened. And it might have been the best thing that ever happened for Ohio State, was just to have players on our team like that who were willing to step up and who Ryan Day couldn't really push back on. Like, you can't push back on Caleb Downs and be like, well, no, you made this mistake. It's right. Like, okay, like, he's undeniable. Again, Jeremiah Smith, you cannot push back on him and be like, well, you did this. No, I'm undeniable. Like, if you throw me the ball, you know that I'm going to catch the ball no matter who's there. So no, this is on you. And I think Ryan Day, for the first time in his career, had to take real ownership. And when I say real ownership, Mike, I'm not talking about like, oh, I made a bad hire, let me hire somebody else.
Right.
I'm talking about, I did not put my kids in the best position to win a game. In the biggest game of literally all these seniors that came back for me because I promised them that we would go beat Michigan again. Right. I put them in a spot where they could not go beat Michigan, and they played their ass off. I said that from the end of that game. I know people don't like talking about that game, but the players played their ass off in that game. They were just not put in a good spot to win. And I think Ryan Day had to take ownership of that, bro. And ownership is a powerful thing, bro. Like, if you know what I mean? You get in front of all them guys and you got to take ownership of that and be like, look, I fucked up. I'm never going to do that ever again. I'm never going to let y'all down again. If that's the Ryan Day that we got and we got going forward, listen, because what Ohio State did to Tennessee, it was kind of like, okay, maybe Tennessee's terrible. Maybe Tennessee's trash. And it's like, okay, cool. But now we're going against Oregon. And listen, I didn't think that Oregon was that good. I said it on the show here. I thought their defense was trash, but Oregon was not that bad, dude.
Right.
They were not that bad to get stomped like that unless that was a team that was really clicking on all cylinders. And that's Ohio State right now, bro. And it looks like the players are having fun for the first time in a long time. I feel like our players are having fun because they know that it's them versus the other team, and they're not going to get put in a spot where they're going to lose. They're not questioning the play calls all the time, and they're playing free and they're not thinking. And I don't know, man. It looks crazy. Hopefully, they keep that up this game.
Big facts, man. Now, one game that I will say went exactly how I thought it went was Penn State versus Boise in the Fiesta Bowl. Penn State beats Boise 31-14. I mean, and it just showed like when you actually go, like, here's the thing. A lot of people wanted to put Gentry up there in the categories of what Derrick Henry did and things like that. And I'm like, the competition that Derrick Henry did that on week in, week out was way higher than what Gentry has played. And that was my whole thing about G5 being in this playoffs and even getting a first round bye, even though the playoff committee said that they believe Boise's conference championship means more than the ACC, even though they G5. Like,
it's got to change, Mike.
It does, and the seeding definitely has to change as well because Boise should have been first round wild card, whatever you want to call it. They definitely should have been. Maybe they could have won one of those games depending on the matchup. But you just see when the battle in the trenches, Penn State won it hands down. I don't even think that they had to do much throwing the ball. They just was able to run it, have their way.
Yeah, man. That game was over early. You know what I mean? Like I think as soon as you saw Penn State get a pick six, it was like, all right, bro. You could just tell it was not going to work for them. So I don't know, man. Penn State got an easy go to the playoffs, but also like there's not a team in this playoffs that I think couldn't lose to Penn State. Like the only team I could say that is Ohio State, and that's because Ryan Day is to James Franklin what Jim Harbaugh is to Ryan Day.
I can't
like
believe you said it.
And it's just, I don't know. I think
I can't believe you
Mike,
said that. I cannot believe you said that.
I mean, that's what it is, bro. It's like, right. I mean, I don't know. That it's just what it is. Ryan Day is, if he goes against James Franklin's going to do something to fuck the game up, or Ryan Day is going to do something to outcoach him. But Penn State could beat Texas or Notre Dame, in my opinion. What's Steve talk about? Steve said, "Come on, there." Y'all mad at me for telling the truth, man? Come on. Yeah, I'm telling the truth. Anyway, back to the point, Mike. I'm just saying, like, Penn State is in a spot right now where I think with Drew Aller playing the way he is, which I think is at a pretty high level. I know their wide receivers are not great, but Drew Aller playing at a high level and their defense playing at a high level, I think Penn State could beat anybody, bro. So they're in a good spot right now.
All right. They definitely are in a good spot, and they got a pretty cakewalk. I mean, losing your conference championship definitely comes with rewards, man. And final game, man. Notre Dame goes ahead, takes care of Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. I mean, Georgia had no answer. I know some people want to sit there and say, hey, Georgia was without their starting quarterback. Honestly, I think that Carson Beck probably makes more mistakes or throws a pick or something like that. I mean, maybe the team chemistry might have been better, but what Notre Dame was able to do to Georgia was a bit surprising. But Kirby Smart does have an issue when it comes to quarterbacks being mobile, and we saw Riley Leonard leading Notre Dame in rushes. We've seen Jeremiah Love go down with an injury, and so they just rode Riley Leonard all game. Yeah. And shout out to Notre Dame also on the special teams aspect, man. From the beginning of the game, I think that they was putting fear in the punter as well, and they didn't care. Like I like the aggressiveness that Notre Dame came out with against Georgia, man. And
that was hilarious. Mike, that was hilarious. They hit their punter on back-to-back plays, bro.
I think neither one of them
did it on purpose. Penalties either, bro. They still had to punt. Like what? They smacked him the first time.
I think they
That's
did it on purpose, bro.
oh, dude, the first time he definitely did. That had me dying, bro. He smacked him. They called it a 5-yarder. They came back and did it again. Like, all right, cool, let's do this again. Run it back.
Facts. Yep.
It was the same guy too. The same player hit him twice. Oh man. But hey, listen, dude, Notre Dame looks good, bro. I mean, Marcus Freeman's kind of cooking over there. I love what Marcus Freeman's doing. I know they lost a really crappy game this year. But you know, I talked about Penn State. I could easily see Notre Dame winning this game. I could see Notre Dame causing 2 turnovers, winning this game 28 to 16 or some stupid shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
we've seen Penn State not be able to score when they played against Ohio State. They didn't score a touchdown other than a pick 6 on the Ohio State's first drive there. They couldn't even get into the end zone. So I could see something like that happening too. This game's kind of hard to pick. You know, I guess I kind of skipped over talking about Georgia and just went right to Penn State. So I want to backtrack real quick. Yeah, I want to backtrack real quick because we got to talk about how Notre Dame was able to just kind of completely control the game against Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
They beat them on the line of scrimmage, bro, which is surprising. Like you expect Georgia's D-line at least to be really good, and they're typically they're known for being good on the O-line because, as Ohio State fans know, we always cry about how many 4- and 5-star offensive linemen they get. So you would think, they'll be able to win the trenches. I think that Notre Dame is really good in the trenches. I think that Marcus Freeman is a tough-ass, kind of hard-nosed coach, and Notre Dame's football team looks just like a tough-ass, hard-nosed football team. And those types of teams can muddy up games and win them, especially if they're really good on special teams, which you've noticed Marcus Freeman's group has been cooking on special teams. In this game, special teams touchdown. Like, I mean, me and you was in the space earlier, Mike. We heard that Notre Dame kid say it. Like, he was right about this. Like, Marcus Freeman, he's using the Jim Tressel. He's using the Jim Tressel method. And, I mean, as long as your defense can hold up against these high-powered offenses, it's going to work. Like, you muddy up the game, it's going to work. So, I don't know, man. They kind of just whooped Georgia's ass. There was nothing to it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't I know Georgia, they had their backup quarterback, and honestly, they may have won the game if they had their starting quarterback. I'm not going to say they wouldn't. Like, Gunnar Stockton is not as good as Carson Beck, you know, but I just think that even when you have your backup quarterback in, like, your team played like they knew they had the backup quarterback in, and like they didn't think that they could win the game. You know what I mean? They just let Notre Dame control the game the whole time. So, but I just talk forever, bro. I need you to cut in. I need to get a drink.
You're good, man. We got Penn State, right? Go right into it, man. Penn State versus Notre Dame. College football semifinals, man. Thursday, 7:30 kickoff on ESPN, man. Both of these teams are coming in with injuries to their star players. We're hearing that either they're game time decisions or they're going to play. And that goes to Abdul Carter for Penn State and Jeremiah Love, the running back for Notre Dame, man. And to be honest, I think that these are two big key pieces for these teams. But I'll tell you this. I will say this. I think that the injury that hurts the team worse is Notre Dame, because I feel like Notre Dame needs Jeremiah Love because he gets those hard yards. He gets the yards after contact. Like I just feel like he's their most effective player. And in this type of game, in this matchup game where I think Notre Dame is gonna, they like to run the ball. Riley Leonard, we're not trusting him in the throw game. He last game he threw for maybe like 3.7 yards per attempt.
Something real bad, man.
Yeah, we're not worried about that, right? So Penn State's looking to shut that run game down and make Riley Leonard beat them with their arm against that secondary, right? So Abdul Carter, sometimes he's the fish in a run game. Take him out. And then what you got? I think that this could end up boding well for Penn State. I don't think that you need to really put him out there to get him injured, maybe just put him out there on obvious passing down.
Yeah, and that's a good idea. Actually, I didn't even think about that, dude, because he's like an every down guy. But like, if he's hurt, man, just get him out there on passing downs. I'm sure that the next guy that you have a defensive end is probably a bigger dude who's going to be, because like Abdul definitely can be a mark in the run game if they run at him. So, but I mean, he's a freak with pass rushing, and I mean, getting him out there for those downs will be huge. I don't know, man. I just think, like you said, Notre Dame, I feel like their offense could be so bad that it loses them the game if Jeremiah Love doesn't play, or if he's not healthy. Like, even if he's able to play and he's just not healthy and he gets hit once or twice and it's like, oh shit, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep doing this or whatever. Right. Like, that's gonna be really bad for them. I know they probably have another guy. To be honest, I don't know who their backup running back is, but
Price.
Who is it?
Price, I believe. But here's my thing though. He's been having, against good defenses, they've been having issues running the ball. And I know like Jeremiah Love, even in the postseason, has been looking good, but it's because he has a couple or one long spring that keeps the average looking good. But as we was talking earlier in the space, someone was saying you take away that run, the average isn't really that well. Now, I understand that run counts. It helped go to the game and stuff like that. But you're talking about in these type of matchups where those runs don't break open as often, you can't count on explosives in the run game. You can't. I hope that's not what you're banking on. And like you said, how effective is Jeremiah Love going to be on that knee? You're counting on, like I said, you're counting on those yards after contact. That's all in leg work. That's keeping the legs moving.
Yep.
They're not going to be that strong.
I think he's a star. That's the thing. That's why I think it's a big deal. Like, I think that if you look at their offense, the star of their offense is Jeremiah Love. They don't have any other, like, they don't have any other guy who's like the star of their offense. I mean, you could say Riley Leonard, but like, again, that running the quarterback shit's not going to work unless you have a running back that is also a threat when you hand them the ball. You know what I mean? Right. So I think it might bode bad for them, especially because I think Penn State's defense is really good. And the one thing about Penn State's defense is that they will get aggressive on you, and if they get aggressive on you and start hitting you for tackles for loss, that offense is going to stall really quick because Penn State's pass defense is really good too. You know what I mean? So like, if they get you in 3rd and long, you're probably not just going to convert it easily on them. So I don't know, man. Like, if I had to pick this game, I'm picking Penn State to win it, just because I think they have the better quarterback. I think Drew Aller has been playing really good.
Okay.
What was you saying?
No, keep going.
Okay. Yeah, I think that Drew Aller's just been playing really good. And even back to like the Ohio State game, I feel like he played very well. They just don't have the receivers, you know what I mean? They of course they still don't, but I also think that Penn State later in the year, they really found something in the run game. I don't know if they switched up their scheme, maybe like Ohio State did. I'm not sure, but their run game just looked like they was getting to the 2nd and 3rd level more often as they got later in the year. And Nick Singleton, again, really starting to cook. Katron Allen's always been just a phenomenal runner of the football, hard to bring down. You know what I mean? Like, not going to be super explosive, but they have that punch, that 1-2 with those guys, and they've kind of been cooking late in the year. I think if Penn State doesn't try to get too fancy or like too cute with their play calling, I think they can win this game. Like, I don't want to see them waste a drive because it's 1st down and 10 and you did a trick play. Like, please don't do that. Please don't put yourself at 2nd down and 12 because you did some dumb trick play shit when Drew Aller's, it's the 3rd quarter and Drew Aller's thrown for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, you know what I mean? Right. Like, don't take the game out of your quarterback's hands if he's playing well. So, but I think they won't though. I think James Franklin, they'll probably do some stuff. But I don't think they'll do it in bad spots. And some of it might work on this Notre Dame defense because they're not used to seeing stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, we play Penn State every year. They always do that weird, wonky shit. So we studied it. And, we usually they don't end up getting it off on us. So.
Right. So my path to the championship, I'm going to basically do a path to the championship for both teams, man.
Okay.
Penn State, like you said, is definitely going to have to be in the running game. Singleton, Katron Allen, they're going to have their game. The offensive line is going to have to step up in a major way. But also, you're going to have a great game by Drew Aller. He cannot make mistakes. You cannot turn the ball over. Those things cost them. Like in the Oregon game, right? He don't throw that turnover, critical time. You could say, hey, whatever, but I just feel like that they were driving down the field. If he doesn't throw in the offense, they have momentum, also have rhythm. If you don't throw the interception, you possibly go down there and you win this game for your team. That's basically
true.
what I'm saying. You cannot turn the ball over Drew Aller in this game because because Notre Dame does have that defense. Also, Penn State, they've been good at creating turnovers. A lot of people want to talk about Notre Dame, like I was saying. They like to do the dink and dunk. People was like, God, they're not going to really be able to get a chance to get interceptions because Notre Dame only likes to dink and dunk. What was Ohio State doing in the beginning of the season when they went up against Penn State? We tried to do a little dink, and they took it to the crib. Play games if you want to, but Penn State, when they get their turnovers, they normally take it to the house. And for Notre Dame, their path to the championship is going to be winning on special teams, man. They're going to have to win on special teams. And basically the same thing as Penn State. They're going to need to create turnovers and put their offense in big situations, in great situations on the plus side of the field.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, Mike. You nailed it, bro.
Right.
I think if there was like one stat I could say, probably whatever team's quarterback turns the ball over the least in this game probably wins.
Big facts, man. And I'm gonna bring our guy up, man. Ron James, how you doing, man? Our special guest. What up, Ron?
What up, fellas? I appreciate you guys having me. I feel extra special being in the center. I'm normally on the left, so I feel special today.
Man,
dude, when I'm on the roast, dude, I'm in the center with the little coffee cup on me. I'm like, yeah.
Man, we are so glad that you are able to be on the show, man. I was just chopping it up with you on the phone and was like, Ron, what you think about getting on the show? Ron was like, hey, I would love to. So, Ron, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys having me. I got a chance to talk to Terry this morning, so glad we get to run it back here. Like, it's been a minute. I haven't been on the show, so I'm glad that you guys invited me to be on.
For sure, man. Well, you know what we brought you here to talk about, man. It is Ohio State versus Texas, Friday night kickoff at 7:30 on ESPN, man. What are your initial thoughts of the game? Start off with Ryan.
I mean, my initial thoughts are this game better happen on Friday. I got to on Saturday.
It's happening.
I'm over here like fingers crossed, doing my weather dance, hoping that the Buckeyes are able to play this game on time. But man, I'm trying. I hate to use the phrase, but I mean, I'm trying not to indulge in the rat poison because I feel like everywhere I look, people are picking the Buckeyes, and I've had my sword up and my guard up all season, and I've been used to all of the hate, and now it's just like landmines of rat poison everywhere of people patting the Buckeyes on the back. I have no doubt that this team is locked in and focused. I mean, they had 3 goals coming into the season. They weren't able to achieve 2 of them. They know that the job is not done, and they still have plenty ahead of them, so I expect them to be locked in for this game. I expect Texas to come out and fight, and I think the Buckeyes are going to have a battle ahead of them, but I do hope and think that the Buckeyes' talent will prevail in this one.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, I just checked the weather app, right? Arlington, Texas. It says it's not even supposed to snow there based on this thing. Anytime in the next 4 days, it's not supposed to snow. It just says it's supposed to rain. And it's going to be in like the 30s, like the 30s and the 40s.
That's what I like to hear.
Maybe the weatherman missed. Hey.
I mean, maybe because I am north of Arlington or whatever, but right now mine's is saying we're getting 90% chance of snow. Now, maybe not
well.
Friday, but we're getting 90% chance of snow tomorrow. My daughter, as I was picking her up from school, her teacher was saying the kids do not have school tomorrow. I'm letting you know now. It's going to be snow because I saw Buckeye fans were leaving, getting here tonight. So when they wake up, it will be snow on the ground. Do not leave your hotel. Just enjoy yourself. Don't go out here driving with them crazy people. Trust me. I know from experience.
And it's not even like you can trust the Ubers like around here. Like if someone, I mean, in Pittsburgh, like if someone's driving Uber in the snow, like they really do this shit. Like you can get in there and safely know that someone driving the car knows what the fuck they're doing. Texas, good luck.
Nah, don't get in. Yeah, don't get in no car at all when it's snowing. Icy any of that.
Well, man, I gotta ask you guys, man. I need to know your keys to victory. But let's start with the Texas side first, right? What would be the keys to victory for Texas to beat the Buckeyes?
I mean, I think it is. They absolutely have to win the turnover battle. I do not think there is a scenario where Texas wins this game without forcing at least one turnover. If the Buckeyes are able to play a clean bill of this game and not have any turnovers that completely flip the field in favor for Texas or allow their defense to score, I think the Buckeyes are going to be able to win this game. I mean, it's as cliche as it comes, but it's really going to come down to the turnover battle. And I think Texas, at minimum, will need at least one turnover to win this game.
Terry.
Yeah, I think for Texas, man, they need to kind of do like, I know it's cliche, but they need to come out and kind of hit them in the mouth, right? Like Texas needs to come out in this game early and get a lead. You know, maybe get the ball first, go down, score, get a stop, something like that. If they don't come out in this game early and kind of establish that they're here to play, I think they're not going to have a shot to win the game. But if they do that, I do think that we all know that Ryan Day can get in his head. You know, if Texas comes out, scores, and then they get a turnover, something like that, things can tighten up real quick in that game plan. So I think that's the key for them, is just come out and do something right away that's kind of lets Ohio State know that we're here to play.
All right. And my key to victory for Texas is they're going to have one of their best games of the season. And being that, and the reason why is going through their games, they stall out. They don't finish. Terry, I don't think that even if, hey, let's say Texas goes ahead, put up 2 touchdowns, is that really safe for Texas? Because it wasn't safe enough for them against Arizona State, right? So I think that they need to be playing a complete game and one of their best games of all season for them to go ahead and win this game.
I agree with that, man. I mean, you know, the other thing too is Quinn Ewers, bro. Quinn needs to be a baller in this game if they want to win it. He needs to go out there, make some off-script plays. I mean, he can do it. Like we've seen, if you look at his game film, he can do it. But he can also try to do it and throw a pick. So I think for Quinn is going to be probably the most important piece for them in this game. I mean, whether he has a good game or a bad game could decide it.
Got you. All right, man. And what is the path to the championship? Keys to victory for Ohio State. What do you guys got? And it don't have to be one. What, you got 2? You got 3? Let me know. What do you have?
I think Ohio State's defensive line is going to be the deciding factor in this game. If they're able to stop the run and get after the passer, I think the Buckeyes are going to have a big day on Friday. I believe Texas is 81st in sacks this year, given up in the country. They're like 118 in tackles for losses given up. I think with the trajectory that you've seen that the Buckeyes defensive line has been playing with, I had a conversation with Chris Drew today. They asked me on a radio interview that I did this afternoon, do you think that Jack Sawyer is a first-round pick? And I'm like, no, probably not, with the production that he had early in his career. And I feel like he has enough bad tape that I feel like NFL scouts aren't going to fall for it and at least wait until the second day to take him. And then I talked to Chris Drew and we started going through the numbers, and he's like, I've seen people go in the top 10 with less production than Jack Sawyer, and that's a household name. That's a guy you could see. So, I mean, if you have these guys come out and play like the way they've played in these last 2 games, because it's kind of it's a small sample, but at some point it's like, all right, is this who the Buckeyes are? Because you think to the Michigan game, you think back to the Oregon game the first time, and you see the lack of pressure, and you're like, well, we've seen that version of the Buckeyes show up, but we've also seen the version that has shown up for the college football playoffs. And the biggest question is that version here to stay, because there's 2 games left. And if they're able to play that brand of football for 2 more games, there's not a team in the country that can beat them. And I think this defensive line has the ability to dictate and decide the outcome of this game.
Damn, Ron was spitting right there.
Hell yeah, he was.
Hell yeah, Ron.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Hey,
I think, I want to comment on what Ron was saying real quick. I think that might just be who they are, Ron. I think that they're being allowed to kind of really get after it now. They're not being asked to do an assignment as much as they're given more get after the quarterback and get him to the ground. And JTT and Jack have both hugely benefited from that, in my opinion. So I love that pick from you, bro. For me, dude, it's going to be Ohio State's ability to run the ball. Because, I know that we've been passing to open up the run, but I think that in this game, I don't think that we're just going to go out here and bomb on them like how we have been other teams. I think that Texas's secondary is a little, they're better. Like, they're better than Oregon's. They're better than Tennessee's. And I think that we are going to have to establish the run a little bit, but I think that we can do that against this Texas team. I think that they're not going to stack the box early in the game. So like I said, we're probably going to end up running to open up the pass, which I know Ohio State fans are going to hate that, but I think it'll be okay as long as we're multiple in the run game, how we have been. As long as we're continuing to run more gap scheme, seems to be better for our O-line, for our running backs, everything. And I think that we'll be able to establish the run. But if we're not able to, and we have to just go to just throwing the ball, that's where I think Texas could take advantage of that, maybe create a couple turnovers in the game.
You're going to scare a lot of Ohio State fans, man, because it's like, what if they, do like a fake like box, right? Making you want to run the ball, but it's the same thing that team up north did. So you might be scaring guys, man, with that one, man.
Hey, can we make Ron give a score prediction before he gets out of here?
Yeah, man. Ron, you got anything else on this game? And give us your score prediction.
I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. I give the same score prediction every game, no matter who we're playing, no matter the platform. 28-17.
Every single game. Every game is what we're going with.
It's because I have no problem in saying this. I'm 100% transparent, bro. I have no idea when I'm putting numbers on a score prediction. Like, we talk about this team every day. We've watched these games over and over again. We've been in the group chats. We've watched the film breakdowns, bro. And I couldn't in a million years have predicted the score that we saw in these first 2 playoff games. So it's a shot in the dark. I always go with 28-17. For a couple reasons. I think 17 is the magical number with the Jim Knowles defense. If the Buckeyes are able to hold a team under 17, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to win the game, especially with Ryan Day and Chip Kelly being the offensive gurus that they are. 28 being a number that requires 0 field goals made for the Buckeyes to achieve it. So I think if the Buckeyes are able to get on the scoreboard 4 times and Jim Knowles' defense locks in, the Buckeyes are going to be able to get it done. And that's why my prediction is always 28-17.
That's crazy.
I appreciate you guys having me, man.
Right. Let the people know where they can find you.
If you want to find me, you can find me weekdays here on the Buckeye Roast, Monday through Friday. You can catch me in the Bleacher Report app for instant reactions. You can catch me on post-game reactions on Chuck on Bucks, the Menace Sports platform, and on Twitter at 2Ts, 2_TEES.
All right. We appreciate you, Ryan, man.
Later, bro.
Good one. All right. So I gotta go ahead and get my keys to victory, right?
Yeah, man. Let's hear it, brother.
All right, man. So my keys to victory for Ohio State in this game is definitely going to be keeping the momentum that you have, right? Ignoring all of the rat poison. You guys want to say is it's the Woody versus everybody. Keep it that way. Because you guys know if you lose, the things that you will hear, the things that you don't want to hear, and the team has talked about that. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're using, is working. Keep it up. If you need some motivation from national media, trust me, it's out there. I've seen Ohio State fans tagging the coaches, things like that. So just keep that momentum up. That's definitely one thing that Ohio State needs to do. And also continue to just dominate on defense. If they dominate on defense, I don't see how anyone can beat them. Like you said, Terry, or like Ron was saying, you keep a team at 17 or under, who's really beating them. Ohio State's been able to keep teams all season under 20. Other than that team up north, that was the only team. Obviously, rivalry game is in Coach Day's head. Hopefully, it's not anymore. But also Will Howard, he's going to have to play a clean game like he has all postseason long. When you see Ohio State having issues or in those games that they end up losing, it's when we have had turnovers. So if we continue to minimize those turnovers, play a clean game, which I think that the Buckeyes will, man. As long as we continue to do that, I think we'll be fine. Did you see the picture of G. Scott? Looked like they were outside practicing in the snow.
Man, they weren't practicing outside, Mike. They was outside doing a whatever G. Scott was doing out there, bro. They had Tim Walton do a thing today too, and he was inside with all the players on the indoor. G. Scott didn't even look like he was outside practicing. He looked like he stepped out there for a minute. They didn't practice outside.
Like he was talking to the players, man.
Yeah, they was outside taking a knee. They wasn't practicing outside. There ain't no way.
All right, man. So we talked about keys to victory, man. What about some people, some key players that need to be talked about in this game? Let's start on the Texas side. Who are some key players that we should be talking about, or key position groups that need to be talked about in this for the Texas side?
Yeah, for Texas, it's going to be their O-line. Their O-line's kind of been beat up a little bit, both their tackles, and I think one of them's very healthy now, like he's completely back, and the other one didn't play last week. So, but I think he's been practicing. You know what I mean? But I mean, you don't want tackles that are not healthy against Jack and JT right now. You just really don't, like, especially Jack. I feel like Jack will be really hard on a tackle that is not healthy because Jack is very physical. So they don't really want that. But so again, just their O-line. As a whole, I think is the position group to watch on their offense. And then on defense, I think it's going to be their linebackers. Again, I've told you now, I think that one of the keys to this game is running the football. And I think that if Texas's linebackers can be big time run stoppers and kind of make negative plays and stuff like that, that would be huge for them in this game, because if they don't and they're getting blocked, they're going to be in for a bad day if Ohio State's able to run the ball.
And so I'm going to go on offense. I'm going to go Texas running backs, man. I think that the running backs, they're going to need to get off in this game. One thing that Texas doesn't want to do is be one-dimensional in this game. You've kind of seen what Jim Knowles is able to do to teams once they become, one-dimensional, and it takes you until Ohio State's up, and then he starts playing soft coverage for your pass game to get off, or, he's kind of playing conservative, allowing you to get the stuff underneath, but nothing really over the top. Like once he gets to that, the game's already done. So Texas running backs definitely need to have a big game here. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Texas secondary, they need to have a big game. As you've seen, Jeremiah Smith has been having game after game after game. And, Texas has been telling us they have the Jim Thorpe Award winner. So they need to show why they have the Jim Thorpe Award winner. They need to show why their secondary can hang with Ohio State's Zone 6. Because
I think I just assumed that Ohio State's wide receivers were gonna win that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume too, but it's also, what if Will Howard? He has thrown some bad passes or some things behind. If they're playing tight coverage and they're able to maybe pick a ball because it's behind, like that's why I said, in the path to the championship, Will has to play a clean game because those Texas DBs will be opportunistic and they're athletic enough to make those plays as well. So, I mean, we're just talking about those key position groups are the ones who have to have a great game for Texas to win. So that's why I brought them up.
You're right. You wasn't wrong to bring them up, brother. Yeah. I'm just saying I assumed that Ohio State's receivers was going to win because they're just like that.
Yeah. And then Ohio State. Terry, give us your position groups or players to watch.
All right, so I seen my guy in the chat ask for a bold prediction earlier, Mike. I always do this, right?
Yep.
I can't do it on a game this time, bro. We got a pick'em game on the other side and the Ohio State game, and Ohio State's favored, so I'm not gonna pick Ohio State to lose.
Terry, before you do that, I forgot we got a super chat in here.
Oh yeah, let's hit that.
Shout out our guy Doug for the 5, Ohio State 42, Texas 16, and I mean.
Doug went big time, man.
That would be the defense being who the defense has been since the Oregon game is what that would be. And then it would be the Ohio State offense being who it's been since the playoffs.
Yeah, and that would be this team cooking, man, like they have been.
And I kind of want to talk about that a little bit because everybody has been wanting to go back to the regular season or they, especially in this playoffs, even us going up against Oregon, everybody wanted to go back to the first matchup against Oregon as the reason why Oregon was going to win that game. But I kept trying to explain to people was it's not the same defense. How do you see Oregon's offense being different against this defense? And that was something that Dan Lanning, even in his interview, was saying that they were having a hard time with because the defense was so multiple, right? Boom. There you go. Now, same thing, but one thing that we haven't talked about since the postseason is the offense and the change in the offense. We've talked about how the defense has changed multiple times, but the offense using tempo more, right? Using gap scheme more, just those different things.
Taking one-on-one shots. We were not doing that at all, bro.
Exactly. Pushing the ball down the field. This is a different offense in the postseason. And this is something that Cam from Best Damn Media and several of us have alluded to is in the playoffs, like Cam has said Ryan Day in the playoffs is different. Like playoff Ryan Day is different. One thing that I have said is every time you see Ryan Day in the playoffs, you always see something that you haven't seen all season. And everybody's sitting here, where has this offense been all season? And Ryan Day's like, I saved something for you for the playoffs that you haven't seen.
I agree with you, Mike. And listen, I'm gonna spin this into what I was gonna say. So again, I can't predict the game. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give for my Ohio State key players. I'm gonna give 2 bold predictions right here about players. All right. The first one on offense, Jelani Thurman is gonna score a touchdown. This is where we're gonna see the Ryan Day play where we run everything to the left and leak the tight end out the other side, just like we did Jeremiah. But it's gonna be a tight end this time. It's gonna be Jelani Thurman touchdown. All right, calling that. He only has one in his career, so it's bold, right? On defense, I'm going to go Jordan Hancock. I'm going to say Jordan Hancock with 2 interceptions in this game. And I think Jordan Hancock playing that deep safety spot is dangerous for Texas. Quinn likes to try to make throws downfield into windows, and Jordan Hancock is a ball hawk. I think he's going to get 2 interceptions in this game.
Yeah, and you making those great points that, I was going to say Ohio State secondary. One thing that I said is they need to be on the jugs machine because they dropped too many interceptions in the Oregon game that they should have had. I think that they're, my guy Bobby said it was 5. I say minimum, they should have had 2 interceptions. So,
Minimum.
they
I
need
agree.
to be, they need to be, and I also say the linebackers as well. They need to be on the jugs machine and they need to show up. And then on the offensive side of the ball, it needs to be the offensive line, man. But
the O-line, man.
The
about to show up, Mike.
O-line and Will Howard, as long as they show up, I think we will be fine. Obviously, we both are picking Ohio State. Do you have any score prediction at all in this game?
The hell was that, man? There's some crazy noise behind me. I'm gonna give a score prediction, man. I think, when I give my score predictions, I always go like, listen, things about to go right for us. So we're about to go out there and take care of business. I think it's going to be something like 35-13. That's what I'm going with. I think our defense, I think that this is who they are. I think they're about to go out here and control this game. I mean, I fucking called 2 interceptions for Jordan Hancock, so I can't give them a lot of points. 35-13. I think their defense will have some smoke for us a little bit. Maybe create a turnover, something like that. But we're going to still score a lot of points, and our defense is going to control this game. That's where I'm at.
I say 34-24 is what I have been going with. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep it, but I think our defense will play it better than that. But Sark does like to create matchups, so that's why I got the score like that. I do want to see how we match up in that. But everybody, make sure you hit the like button. If you aren't subscribed, make sure you subscribe right here to Best Damn Media. Terry, let the people know where they can follow you and where they can find you at.
Yeah, just at CFP _stop on Twitter. That's where I'll be at, man. Hit me up on there.
Yeah. And you can find me on the X app at 216_wildboy. You can also catch me right after the Ohio State and Texas game on the Voice of College Football Ohio State channel. We will be live, win or lose. We will be standing in the paint. So make sure y'all go over there, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you know when we're going live right there, man. And, jump in that Discord. The link is in the description. It is film night, man. Terry, we watching film tonight.
Of course, man. Let's get it.
All right, y'all. We out of here, man.
All right, later.
Welcome to the Fans Ed Sports Show. Thank God I'm not a Florida fan. Just out here looking.